Liver King here. I got 1 pound of delicious raw liver right in front of me because liver is king. Here we go. My intestines are shattered. I do enemas every day to take a shit. I have to lay down on the ground with the fetal position with my legs to the left to actually go to the bathroom.
I never thought I'd see the day when a Hollywood icon would go to such extremes just to stay in the limelight. Liver King, once revered for his larger-than-life persona, seems to be falling deeper into a spiral that no one saw coming. It's been a while since his infamous steroid controversy and the public unraveling of his carefully constructed image. Yet rather than bouncing back stronger, it seems Liver King is sinking faster, leaving us all feeling a sense of disappointment rather than admiration. Once the face of the ancestral living movement, he's now a symbol of controversy, from cringeworthy antics to his public admission of using performance-enhancing drugs. The beloved fitness influencer and businessman has morphed into a cautionary tale for anyone watching, especially those who once looked up to him. If you were holding out hope for a legendary comeback, you might want to rethink that. When you look back at Liver King's recent trajectory, it's clear. The unraveling started with that bombshell steroid admission. You know the one. The moment he publicly confessed to using anabolic steroids while presenting himself as someone who achieved his physique naturally. His confession, aired in an exclusive interview, shocked fans and left many questioning everything about his ancestral lifestyle. But in trying to set the record straight, he shattered the image of the invincible health guru audiences once adored. Instead, his credibility collapsed in an instant, and the fallout was swift and severe. Brands began to distance themselves, sponsorships disappeared, and his online empire started to crumble. What stings the most is how the public now sees him, not as the fitness icon he once was, but as a cautionary tale of someone who built their empire on lies. The confession was just the spark, but what followed was a deepening crisis, one rooted in his personal life. Just a few years ago, Liver King and his family were seen as the perfect example of health and vitality. His online persona, complete with his intense workouts and all-natural approach to life, made him a role model for millions of followers. But all of that shattered when the truth about his steroid use came out. The revelation rocked the fitness community and beyond, and Liver King, who seemed to take it all in stride, looked passive and resigned. Instead of facing the backlash head-on, he appeared to apologize, but many felt it came off as a weak attempt to salvage his image. To some, it seemed like a desperate move to save what was left of his brand. The fallout didn't stop there. Liver King's carefully curated family man image, which was once adored by fans, was now tainted. The memes began circulating, and he quickly became a punchline. The public's reaction was swift and unforgiving, with many mocking him for his hypocrisy. As Liver King's personal life unraveled, so did his career. His brand, which once sold supplements and other wellness products, began to lose steam. Sponsorships dried up, and his social media following, once loyal, began to question his authenticity. Fitness forums lit up with fans expressing their frustration, calling him out for promoting a lifestyle that was built on lies. His once empowering messages now seemed hollow and disingenuous. Even his latest business ventures, including his supplement line and various online courses, haven't been able to regain the momentum they once had. The once influential figure is now scrambling to repair his reputation, but it's unclear if he'll ever regain the trust of the people who once followed him without question. But it wasn't just his fitness empire that took a hit. Liver King also attempted to return to his roots in the fitness space, where it all began. He released new videos and social media content in an attempt to reclaim his place as a top influencer. Unfortunately, the response was lukewarm at best. Despite his best efforts, the public's perception of him had already been damaged beyond repair. It wasn't just the tone of his apology videos that missed the mark. The whole vibe felt off. The once inspiring wild man persona now came across as desperate and calculated, and even his most loyal followers couldn't save him. The backlash was swift, and it seemed like yet another misstep in Liver King's ongoing saga of failed comebacks. And if that wasn't enough, his latest attempt to bolster his image with a live promotional video sparked outrage when online observers noticed something strange. The audience appeared fake. It looked like the entire crowd had been artificially generated, with many calling it a desperate move to create hype around his brand. Fans quickly pointed out the lack of genuine engagement, and social media exploded in mockery. The reactions were immediate and brutal. Comments flooded in, accusing him of faking his success and pandering to his dwindling fan base. Social media users mocked the use of AI to simulate a crowd, calling it an embarrassing attempt to maintain relevance. For a man who built his name on authenticity, the irony was painful. Some speculated that Liver King might be using AI to save money, suggesting that he couldn't even afford a real audience anymore. While we don't know the specifics of his financial situation, the fact that he's resorted to these kinds of gimmicks speaks volumes. It's no longer about promoting fitness or health. It's about holding on to a crumbling empire. Liver King isn't the first influencer to be criticized for using AI. Other celebrities like A.R. Rahman and Taylor Swift have incorporated AI into their work, but with transparency and creativity. However, in Liver King's case, the use of AI feels like a cover-up, a desperate attempt to hold on to a spotlight that has long since faded. What's even more tragic is that, when compared to other stars who've fallen hard but managed to claw their way back, Liver King's story is much more complicated. Take Robert Downey Jr., for example. Once written off as Hollywood's lost cause, drowning in addiction and personal chaos, he made a stunning comeback with Iron Man and went on to become the face of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Or look at Keanu Reeves, whose career seemed all but over after personal tragedies, only to be embraced by audiences in John Wick, earning him the title of Hollywood's kindest man. Liver King, however, has opted for shallow moves, from unconvincing apology videos to using AI to simulate success. It's a far cry from the inspiring raw energy he once projected. And the result? He's become a cautionary tale for how not to handle fame when it starts to slip away. The sad reality is that Liver King, once a force in the fitness industry, has become a shadow of his former self. He's no longer the inspirational figure he once was. Instead, he's now chasing a past that he can never return to, using gimmicks and fake crowds to keep his name alive. Liver King's story is a stark reminder of how fragile fame can be. One bad choice, one scandal, and it can all crumble. We're watching it happen in real time, and it's a tough pill to swallow. Fame isn't forever. And for Liver King, his time in the spotlight seems to be rapidly fading. Thank you so much for sticking with me until the end of this video. If you enjoyed this, make sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you in the next one.